Hey guys, Dolan here, and, well, you can clearly see what this video is about by the title. We are going over the Sodor Chronicles engines. We are going to be starting with a rough amount of characters. There is more to these engines, but I'm just going through what I have here. So, join me as I spend the next hour or so going over these engines. It may be a two-parter, maybe a one-parter, have no clue yet. I'll be going through engines, I'll be going through the engines, and I'll be ending with Thomas. Thomas will be the final engine I go over. Now, with all that said, let's get started. Okay. The first engines I will be going over today are Donald and Douglas. Donald and Douglas actually have been, well, through a lot. My Donald and Douglas models have been going through a lot the last couple of years. Douglas is the first one we'll be taking a look at. Douglas was actually made from, well, funny enough, I had Douglas for the longest time. Didn't have Donald. Douglas was made from my original 2009 Trackmaster Hit Toys Co. Donald. Now, I don't remember if it says Tomy or not on the bottom, but I'm pretty sure it is the Trackmaster Hit Toys Co. model. Donald has been given the Sodor Chronicles black engine livery with gold and red lining, has proper tender stickers, tender backlining, and a lamp, and has been given brand new nameplates, a lamp, and some lamp irons. That's pretty much it. Here's some photos from when I was working on him, and his brother. Now, here's Donald. Donald was given to me from a good friend, Tank Engine Studios. I added the lamps, lamp irons, and I also added some, not so subtle, but the Sodor Chronicles black engine livery that both him and his brother share. Now, the livery is pretty impressive. Donald has his original tender stickers though, which is a good thing. He has the back lining tender sticker that I made myself. He has an open up cab just like, just has an open up cab just like his brother. And is given the gold trim and everything else. Also with the silver boiler supports. Now, on to the next two. Here are my models of Timothy and Roger. They were also honestly based off of the second era of E2s, which would make him 105 and 106 for Roger. Now, they both are accurate E2s with the back end of their engine, or the back end of their bunker. Now Timothy has handrails, and a safety valve, and a whole bunch of other details. Roger does not have handrails. Roger has splashers while Timothy does not. And only Timothy has a chain coupling. They have their numbers on their running boards, and that's about it. Here's Roger now. Roger's got the singular whistle, the blue safety valve, has no other big detail, has some impressive lining, no back lining, because I had yet to add any, has cab lining, everything else, and has blue trim on the running board. Now, on to the big engines. Our first engine is Henry. Henry has gone through a lot. There are some pictures of him during his build. I definitely had started off with using a normal Playrail Henry base. That was my plan. My plan was to use a normal Henry base, until I decided, oh, what about the tender? Then the tender was decided to be a Stania tender made by Homestar 87. He really helped out, did a bunch of the lining. I added the number, and the coal load is removable. It's held in by a bunch of other stuff. The bottom of a Lego piece, and the weight make up the injector and the water cap. And Henry has faces from a Trains model. Fun fact. Henry is also given the Sodor Chronicles green engine livery. I think it's Kerry green we went with. And his wheels are not painted to match the engine, as I went with normal wheels, because it's a lot harder to paint wheels. So Henry has his normal chassis. The cylinders are painted up, and we've also got the whole We didn't get to do the gold engine lining like I wanted to on Henry. We did around the cab, but that was about it. We did red lining around where the boiler bands are, and also where the splashers are. The splashers are topped with black, while they are lined with red. Didn't go through anything special for him, really. Just made sure he was in proper shape. Now, on to the big blue man, Gordon. Gordon was the second Soto Chronicles model to be complete after Edward. Edward was first, then Gordon. I went with Gordon first because Gordon was easily one of the easiest engines to make. All I used was a Playwell 2015 Gordon. And you've got accurate lining, and he has handrails on his tender. Henry does not have handrails on his tender yet, but we're getting there. Now, Gordon also has decals. He has the Northwestern lettering on his cab, and number 4. It was pretty simple to do the number 4. It wasn't that hard, but I'm glad I was able to do it. The cab is not hollowed out, but the windows are painted. Now, we did end up hollowing out part of the tender. Henry's does not have that because it's a normal Henry tender. He's got still some of the pieces. But Gordon easily was one of the engines that we could hollow out the tender. Or the front of it, at least. Edward was the other engine to do so. Edward and Gordon have the hollowed out tenders. James does not. James uses we'll get to James here in a moment. We're still looking at Gordon. Gordon's got the red lining and the golden red trim, except for around the cab. We weren't able to do that as we did not have much space. But we were able to line his boiler bands with red, and we were able to do the gold lining on the splashers and red as well. That's all for Gordon. Now, time for the red bastard himself, James. James is pretty simple. He had a lot of heavy modifications. As the tender per se, the tender was modified to be a Lancashire and Yorkshire tender. And he was given gold lining around the boiler, was given blue lining on his splashers and the tender. We were going to do double lining with blue and gold, but I had yet to decide to do that. Wrong. We did it wrong. We added the builder's plate and the Northwestern logo on his cab. The cab was painted up in black along with the rest of James. James is made from a Busy Bee James, fun fact. Most of the parts are made from Busy Bee James. I enjoyed making James because James was a really good engine to make. I got to build most of the tender from scratch, and we made it look cool. James just has a tender that he should have had to begin with. James also had added sandboxes. There is a piece of his sandbox that is removable to put actual sand if I wanted to. We did not add the whistle, as that will be added at a later date, but I did line the cab in yellow, the yellow shoulders color, with blue as well. So everything on James is usually red, blue, gold. James does not have a back lamp as of this moment, but we have been working on getting decals fitted for him. He no longer has back lining either, but he has a lamp, and we even added the front bogey wheel. The front bogey wheel was probably a pain in my ass, but I did it anyways, because it was fun to do. Now, on to our next engine. Well, now as you can absolutely expect, it's not Thomas. It's actually Percy. Percy was created from a Bill, a Charlie, and normal Percy wheels. Percy received the green engine lining, and, funny enough, I used a lot of putty on this model. Some of Percy's parts are actually made with Tamiya putty, and it was pretty hard to necessarily make the front end of Percy's boiler and line it the way I wanted to. I was able to do it though, and I was very happy with the result. Being able to do this with Percy was a dream come true, and I had plans on doing this with Percy for a while. Percy does not have any backlining, but does have windows. Now, on to our next engine. Edward the Blue Engine. All I can say really is that Edward was the second Soto Chronicles model created. Edward was created from a 2018 Edward redesign. They redesigned Playwright Edward in 2018. His bogey wheels are made from Trackmaster push-along, and as you can see, he clearly has the red and gold lining around his cab, has the red and gold lining on the splashers, and even has the hollowed up tender with handrails. James and Henry will be receiving handrails whenever I get the chance. Edward was also the second model to really be created for the Soto Chronicles. I had plans of doing a video with Thomas and Edward over the last summer, but I didn't get to. Running through the process of building Edward was pretty simple. I'll show some pictures now. Alright, so when mentioning Edward's building process, I kind of lied about that. Edward's building process actually went as follows. I brought Edward back out of the box in 2018, and that's where he sat most of the time, was in the box. I got some bigger side rods, but not the side rods I needed for him. He came with the yellow van and such, and the yellow van was eventually painted gray, as I chose that was probably the best color for it. I immediately took off the face and then put it on my normal Playwright Edward. That's where it sits to this day. As time went on, I would go to remove the block and the part of the splasher that comes up off the running board for the front wheel. I ended up doing this in a process of just cutting it down, really, until it was smooth to the fit and I could have had it the way I wanted. Now, at some point, I had added in a little block to help with the cutting I had made. I really shouldn't have cut into the smoke box, but I did anyways because I thought that would have been best. Now, here's a picture with Edward almost completed and the Blue Boy. The restoration of Edward's running board had went through quite a few months of improvisation, and eventually at some point I had painted the rest of the running board. Here's Edward applying the first few coats of black to add to the body just to make it seem more realistic. This went through 2-3 trial different colors of black that I had went through. I also made sure to file down what I could of Edward and went from there. Edward's tender ended up getting painted in a kangaroo blue. I think it was kangaroo, it might have been kazoo blue, have no clue. I'll have to go back and look at my paints at some point. The axle boxes on the tender were painted with the same blue, and there was outlined with black. At this point, Edward was almost completed and had blacked the face, chassis, and painted buffers on the back. I added the red and yellow lining to Edward and added handrails. This one as follows. I also filed down the windows just to help with easier painting. It would have made things easier in the end. At some point, Edward was ready to go, and he had had his first set of wheels, which were created from, well, as you can clearly see, they look like painted Molly wheels. I had used Molly's bogey for Edward, and it worked at first until I realized, oh, I need to try something different. And that's how it went from there. I tried something different, and just as pictures as follows, and then we've got the tender, which had it painted on too. I want to go back and fix it with decals. I'm pretty sure in here somewhere that I've got pictures of Edward with his new bogey wheels besides what he is on the turntable. Now, here is Edward on the turntable. Just wanting to show you guys off. There is the lamp decal, and he's got the hollowed out tender like I said he did. You can also clearly see there's Trackmaster push-along bogies there and a Lego chain. He was the only one to feature the Lego chain as I did not have enough to continue doing it with the rest of the engines. That is it for Edward, and for now we're going to put him back in the shed. And last but not least, we are going over Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas the Tank Engine, he was the first Soto Chronicles model to be completed. I completed him with the help of my friend Javier, which is Homestar78. We have helped each other create this model over the last couple of years. Thomas is final, close to, and I mean this for the last time, final improvements have been completed by me. The main model and structure was created by Javier, and I have added on to his masterpiece so far. Here's a whole bunch of pictures of him in production, before he even had a face as well. I worked really hard on this Thomas with him, and this was the first Soto Chronicles model to be created. I love him to death, and he's probably one of my favorite models to this day. I hope you guys understand that he is a favorite, and I probably wouldn't be this far into the Soto Chronicles if it wasn't for this model. I want to thank Javier so much for everything he's done to help with these models, and he will be credited at the end of the video, and now on the channel community tab, as what are the model creators. I would go over Toby, but we have not done a Toby Soda Chronicles model, so for the time being, I have pulled out Trackmaster 2 Toby. Now, here's a lineup of all of my engines that I've done so far for the Soda Chronicles. From left to right, we've got Timothy, Roger, Henry, Gordon, James, Edward, Thomas, Percy, Toby, Donald, and Douglas. I think that might be the other way around. Nope, Donald and Douglas. Right. Anyways, I've done so far with these models, and I created a tin of sheds just to go with them. I care about these models a lot, and they are some of the best models I have created. With every model that I've shown off today, there is tagged on models of the ones I've worked on. Hopefully you guys will understand that there will be more Soda Chronicles engines in the future. I just have to create them first. The next model on my to-do list is Toby, and then Duck. And then maybe Black James if I've got enough spare parts. I hope you guys all enjoyed. This is JB Dolan signing out, and I will see you all in the next one. Take it away, Thomas.
Hello everyone, I'm Thomas, and I'm the #1 engine on the Fat Controllers Railway. If you enjoyed this video, please click the videos that appear on your screen now. If you'd like to subscribe, click the channel icon in the bottom corner. Don't forget to hit the notification bell for upcoming videos, and I will see you all next time.